Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Look, it's becoming more obvious with every game that Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White are simply not on the same page. We're seeing Caitlin Clark publicly question the defensive approach, and she's clearly frustrated with the same mistakes happening over and over again. The Indiana Fever keep going back to defensive schemes that haven't worked, and Caitlin Clark is making it clear that something needs to change. Let's get right into it. The Indiana Fever suffered a frustrating loss to the Atlanta Dream on Caitlin Clark's sneaker debut day. Despite the disappointing result, Caitlin Clark was putting together another incredible performance. She had 26 points and 7 assists heading into the fourth quarter. But she finished the game with those same numbers because foul trouble completely changed the outcome. So why was Caitlin Clark in foul trouble? Opposing teams know exactly what they're doing. They're targeting her defensively, attacking her whenever they get the chance, and trying to force her into difficult situations. After the game, Caitlin Clark pointed out that the team wasn't getting enough help on defense. She mentioned that the Indiana Fever went right back to the same defensive issues that hurt them against the Portland Fire and the Golden State Valkyries. Caitlin Clark is sending a clear message. These defensive adjustments are not working. Meanwhile, Stephanie White continues to defend the current strategy. Right now, they don't appear to be aligned, and that's a major concern moving forward. Let's take a closer look at exactly what Caitlin Clark had to say about the Indiana Fever's defensive game plan. We already discussed some point, but this time we are going very deep. Let's listen to Caitlin Clark.
I think in transition, they got easy ones, and then I think they had, however many fast break points, 17, so that's, probably that right there contributed to it, and points off turnovers. I thought a lot of times, that's probably on us guards, getting into the ball a little bit better so we don't have to rotate, but I think we could have done a little bit better. We're going to have to rotate at some point, and we kind of went back to our old ways where that second rotation we didn't get, and then they scored off the 90 cuts and the 45 cuts. So we got to do better in that area. And like Kelsey said, essentially everybody on their team shot over 50%. It's really hard to win a basketball game when that's the case.
Kelsey, what do you feel?
You see that? We went right back to the old defense where nobody's rotating. We're playing one-on-one, there's no help, there's no rotations. Now, watch Stephanie White. Stephanie White isn't going to mention this. Stephanie White is going to talk about how they need to play one-on-one defense, and that's it. No help. I'm telling you, they're not on the same page. Stephanie White's a bonehead. She does not know what she is doing. She doesn't know what she's doing. And you know why they shoot over 50%? Because nobody is helping each other on defense. Now look at Stephanie White here. She's never going to, she don't care about the rotations. No rotations. One-on-one. Guard your yard. One-on-one. 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 The same stuff that was not working earlier in the season.
15 points in that stretch.
Yeah, I thought we let him get to the rim too easily. That was pretty much the story of when we had our defensive failings. It was our one-on-one D. We tried to wait until they caught the ball to defend. We didn't make it difficult for them to pass the ball around the perimeter, and they're fast. When they catch it on the run and attack our feet, we're already behind. And there were some times where we didn't have rotations. I thought they did an excellent job in terms of their spacing to make our rotations very difficult. But we've got to be able to guard one-on-one, and more than anything, we got to defend without fouling. We cannot continue to let people live in the 20s and 30s in terms of free throw attempts. We just got to be better.
They obviously play very big with their lineup. How much did that play a part in closing with KK for much of that last couple minutes?
It played a big part, and KK was doing a great job on the boards, her length. She gets deflection, she gets steals.
Let's talk about the biggest issue Caitlin Clark pointed out, the Indiana Fever's one-on-one defense. Why are they continuing to play isolation defense for entire possessions? Look, I understand it on straight-line blow-bys. Those situations happen. But when an opposing player is dribbling the ball over and over again, creating space and attacking the lane, why isn't anyone stepping over to help? That's the question everyone is asking. We've already seen this defensive approach fail against the Portland Fire and the Golden State Valkyries, yet the Indiana Fever continue going back to it. Why stick with a strategy that clearly isn't producing results? At some point, difficult decisions have to be made. According to Sports Illustrated, these ongoing struggles are creating more pressure around Caitlin Clark and the entire organization. Whether you agree or disagree, there's no denying that Caitlin Clark's brand is being pulled into every conversation surrounding this team. We're seeing constant criticism, debates online, and growing controversy around everything connected to Caitlin Clark. Even the All-Star voting has sparked questions among fans, with many believing something unusual is happening. Right now, it feels like the spotlight on Caitlin Clark is bigger than ever, and every moment is being heavily scrutinized. But take a look at this here, courtesy of Sports Illustrated. Here it says, Caitlin Clark falling way behind in the WNBA MVP prediction market. Okay. Here it says, the Fever coming down on Caitlin Clark and so are her MVP chances. Prediction markets show a negative trend in Clark's MVP chances over the last month, despite her strong play. Clark is putting up MVP caliber numbers to start the season at 20 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds. Her scoring and assist totals rank top 5 in the WNBA. The real slide stems from A'ja Wilson's scorching start. Okay, here it says Wilson holding Clark back. While many view Clark's numbers as MVP-worthy, Wilson is simply outplaying her and averaging 26 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, and a steal and a half. That's all while leading Las Vegas to the second-best record in the league. MVP voters weigh team records heavily. This hurts Clark, especially against Wilson, as Indiana is in 7th place at 9-6. And now they're talking about other people, but they're talking about Paige Bueckers as a threat to win MVP. Here it says, Dallas Wings second-year guard, Bueckers holds the advantage despite sitting behind Clark in scoring, assists, and rebounds. Bueckers is the main reason Dallas turned it around after a 10-34 finish last season. Okay, and then, people are talking about Olivia Miles being in the MVP race. It's so much going on in the percentages right now. They got A'ja Wilson, Paige Bueckers, and Caitlin Clark. I think you probably have to have Olivia Miles over Paige Bueckers at this point. And this is exactly what I mean. Stephanie White is getting in the way, and it's affecting the Caitlin Clark brand. Coming into the season, Caitlin Clark was expected to make a serious MVP run. The talent is there, the numbers are there, and the expectations were sky high. But instead of building around her strengths, it feels like Stephanie White keeps going back to defensive schemes that simply are not working. We've seen this before. The Indiana Fever went right back to the same defensive approach they used against the Golden State Valkyries and the Portland Fire. 2 games where teams exposed the exact same weaknesses. So why go back to it? Why is there no help defense? Why are players constantly being left on an island one-on-one? Opponents are getting downhill far too easily, and nobody is stepping over to cut off driving lanes. Nobody is foot-faking in the gaps to force a player to pick up the dribble. Nobody's rotating. Nobody's communicating. It's literally 5 individuals playing separate defense instead of functioning as one unit. And what adjustments did the Indiana Fever make? They never switched into a zone. They never changed the looks they were giving Atlanta. They allowed Atlanta to see the same defensive coverage all game long, and Atlanta figured it out. At some point, that falls on Stephanie White. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is the one taking the criticism, and now her MVP odds are slipping in the WNBA prediction market. A lot of fans believe her momentum is being affected by coaching decisions and the overall direction of the Indiana Fever. But what says you? Get down in the comments and let me know what you think. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share the channel.